This is V, and I've just finished reading Insider Dating by Jennifer O'Connell. So I have to admit, I picked up this book originally because the title made me think it might be funny, except that it kind of turned out not to be. Actually, it's more the kind of story that I would typically just drive as like a train wreck in slow motion, where you can just tell that something really bad is going to happen as the story goes, and you're just kind of reading to figure out or to find out like exactly what happens and possibly how it gets fixed. Anyways, so this story is about a young woman called Abby Dunn, who's been divorced for about 1 year now. So she was with her husband for 2 years when they got divorced, and she kind of has this feeling like that's a sign of failure because it's, just 2 years, like maybe 10 years or 15 years would seem more like a respectable number. But anyways, so she's been she has overall a hard time with relationships and with men in general and just with trust, not just for like men but for herself as well. And at the beginning of this story, she gets this idea that it might be a really cool thing to have a database where all women can report things about the men that they see. So, for instance, if like one person described maybe like if a man doesn't tip well when you go to restaurants, or if someone has any like weird habits, or just quirks and other things that might make them like a bad match, I guess, would be information that someone might input into this database. And her claim is that this would help women be more careful when they select like the men that they go out with or the people that they consider building a relationship with. But I think it's pretty obvious to see how, there could be a lot of problems. Like, she's just this person that's convinced nobody can be truly good. Like, I suppose it's true that nobody is perfect, but she's the kind of person who's always looking for imperfection. And she, part of with this database, she sets out, like, she meets this man who seems really good, and she sets out to try to uncover like something terrible about him, because the better they seem, the more she believes they must be hiding something exceptionally bad. So this story basically follows like when she creates this database and then all the problems and other things that come out of it. And it also really looks at her and like it sort of seesaws between what she's doing now and the relationship she had with her husband. And I think you kind of learn that she, well, in my opinion, is kind of responsible for a lot of her own problems, because it gives this example where she's thinking about the early part of her marriage and her husband does something sweet, and all she's thinking about isn't the fact that he did something sweet or how much she likes him or something. What she's thinking about is, oh, when is he going to stop doing it? Like, when is he going to stop loving me? And she claims that she loves her ex-husband, but I just don't get that feeling. And I think a lot of my frustration with the story was just her incredibly pessimistic personality, and the fact that I feel like her constant search for flaws in other people reflects a lot of flaws in herself. The good thing is that the story acknowledges this, and it is kind of about her learning about herself and moving on and everything. But I have to admit that I almost put down the book several times because I just found her so incredibly frustrating. And since the story was written from first-person perspective, I think that tends to exacerbate the issue. I guess it's a weird thing to say, but so for something I liked about the story, it was that it didn't make it too easy for her to fix her mistakes. And I don't know, maybe that's a weird thing to say, but I think because of the fact that a lot of what she does over the course of this hunt for imperfection, I suppose, or this hunt to justify her own view of the world, strikes me as kind of bad. I needed to see her really work for it, I guess, to prove, her earnestness in order for me to go from kind of rooting against her to being able to be happy for her that things looked like they were going to work out.